Coming up on Mountain News this morning, members of a long-term recovery team in one eastern Kentucky county meet to continue their flood relief efforts by helping their neighbors. And as we look forward to warmer weather, a couple of search and rescue teams remind you to be careful while out on the hiking trails after a few scary incidents.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Coming up on 6:32 here on your Wednesday, I'm Dakota Makris. And again, well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. Brandon, I threw on my heavy coat this morning to head out the door because I looked to see what the temperature was. And I believe, don't quote me on this, it was like maybe 35-ish when I left the house.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right compared to where we are right now in Hazard. So yeah, I would buy that. So again, it's in the 20s and 30s basically across the region this morning. So grab those jackets as you head out the door. It's going to be a chilly start to the day. Let's take a look at the top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain on US 119. No major issues up there. Had a car going by earlier. Some heavier traffic out there this morning. I do want to give you an alert. We posted about it yesterday, but that Car Creek Bridge there on 15, past it this morning. There is a traffic light, and I'm sure once traffic gets picked up, it's going to be a mess out there this morning. So again, no word on how long that's going to be closed, but again, just be careful out there. Give yourself some time. Quick scrape on those windows this morning if you don't have time to warm your cars up, because I had a little frost on my windshield. I'm sure some other folks did too this morning. Up to about 59 though by 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now a couple of dry days on the way, but chances for showers and storms return as we head toward the end of the week. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Eastern Kentucky communities are still working to recover from last year's flooding. Yesterday, members of the Breathitt County Long-Term Recovery Team met as it continues its efforts to help its neighbors. As Chad Hedrick explains, the needs are still shifting.
It's been 8 months since thousands of lives were changed in southeastern Kentucky, and while floodwaters changed communities overnight, the recovery is a much longer process.
It becomes hard to be resilient at this point. When you're hit with 2 floods in 15 months, you want to say that it's hard, but in the same time you look around and see how our people have survived. They are truly survivors. Jamie Mullen-Smith is the chair of the Breathitt County Long-Term Recovery Team. It's made up of several groups, including FEMA representatives, who address the several needs flood victims still have. They started after the March 2021 flood and only finished their work 2 weeks before last July's flood. We try to focus on individuals who have not had their needs met by either insurance or FEMA or other wraparound services. We offer case management, construction help, as well as links to resources. At a meeting Tuesday evening, the group discussed the upcoming 1-year anniversary of the floods, a likely emotional time that Mullen-Smith is aware mental health will continue to be just as important as building new homes. About 12 to 18 months post-disaster, we typically see a huge rise in mental health disorders, whether that be depression, anxiety, self-harm, and even, rates of suicide can increase if we have not given them the proper wraparound services they need. And while work on hundreds of cases have been closed and families are either back into their homes or in new ones, debris removal and other cleanup is still needed. Long-term recovery is what it is. We're going to be here for the long haul. In Breathitt County, Chad Hedrick, WKYT.
Volunteer groups from around the country are still coming in to help with rebuilding and other needs. Groups are scheduled as far out as the week of the 1-year anniversary in July. Kentucky's federal delegation is urging President Joe Biden to approve Governor Andy Beshear's request for a major disaster declaration. It's in response to the storms back in February. Kentucky's U.S. senators and congressmen all signed a letter to the president. The disaster declaration would release federal funding to help with cleanup and repairs. The February storms led to 2 deaths and power outages across our state. The president for the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education, Aaron Thompson, was in Perry County yesterday, meeting with community workforce and education leaders. Dr. Thompson says his goal is to lead community conversations about why higher education matters. He says these conversations are aimed to develop stronger partnerships in an effort to grow businesses and the workforce through education.
For us to keep up the economy that we have booming and to really regionalize the economy where all of our state can boom, we're going to have a highly educated workforce.
He says the goal is for 60% of Kentucky citizens to have a credential that matters by 2030. Both Powell County Search and Rescue and Wolfe County Search and Rescue responded to calls this past weekend of people falling off of cliffs. Both of the men were rescued and are alive, but these situations are prompting 2 search and rescue crews to remind everyone of the safety that comes with exploring new heights. Our Alyssa Williams reports.
These heroes are often overlooked, but should be at the top of the hero list. That is how one father is describing the Wolfe County Search and Rescue crew he says saved his son on Saturday after he reportedly fell 80 feet from a cliff in Wolfe County.
Obviously, given the height of the fall, he was very seriously injured. However, our team was on scene within about 15 minutes or so of receiving the call. We were able to use a rappel line to get responders rapidly to that patient to be able to stabilize him and start providing medical care.
Those with Wolfe County Search and Rescue were not the only crew to respond to a fall of this severity recently. Powell County Search and Rescue assisted in a similar rescue on Friday.
It actually ended up being closer to 90 feet that the guy at Hollerwood fell, and he was talking, able to help us, and it was conscious the entire time of our interaction with him.
Both of the men who fell are alive, but these search and rescue crews are making sure to remind everyone of the importance of cliffline safety.
If you're within 5 feet of that cliff edge, there is a possibility you could fall. So just make sure you have the proper shoes when you're going out and stay farther away. There's really no reason to be within 5 to 10 feet of an edge when you're out there.
Those with the rescue crews add that situational awareness is key when exploring new heights. Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Although neither of the search and rescue teams assisted these calls release the identities of those who fell, Powell County Search and Rescue members say their rescue likely suffered a spinal injury and broken bones. The family of the man who was rescued in Wolfe County says he is in stable condition following his fall. Warmer weather also means cyclists are returning to the roads in Pikeville. Officials and cyclists are reminding people to stay safe while cycling and reminding drivers to be aware of cyclists and runners alike. Bike shops, owners, and experienced cyclists recommend flashing headlights and taillights, wearing bright colors, and always wearing a helmet. Pikeville City Commissioner and avid cyclist Allison Powers says the best way to keep everyone safe is to stay aware of other people.
I just ask that everybody would just be a great citizen and watch out for each other and protect each other, whether you're cycling or in a car or you're walking, just take care of your neighbor.
Powers, as well as Trailtown Bicycles owner Joe Van Hoos, says they have both experienced dangerous encounters with drivers disregarding laws. If you are hunting for a fun Easter outing, the city of Pikeville is, it's offering a few. The city is decked out for the season, working with the University of Pikeville for its first community egg hunt this weekend, with a century-friendly version on the schedule for next week. Organizers also expect some special visits from the Easter Bunny, inviting the community out for photos and more with a friend that they are calling the sassiest bunny in town.
They're very excited to come back and see the children and their families and everyone else. They love Pikeville, they love this area, and they're just glad to be back.
Well, the first egg hunt kicks off Sunday at 3 p.m.
.640 here on this Wednesday morning. Some chilly temperatures out there across the region. 27 Irvin, 29 there in Ashland. Expected a few more spots to drop there this morning. We've got several on the cusp like Somerset, Williamsburg, Manchester, Grundy, and now Clintwood, all sitting at 30, low to mid 30s across most of the region, with the exception of those 20s I mentioned earlier. 36 in several areas, one of the warmer spots this morning. But as you head through the first part of your day, you're going to see those temperatures go up pretty quickly. 60 this afternoon, sunny and milder. That trend continues for tomorrow, but the possibility for some strong to severe showers and storms roll into play as we head into Friday. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Coming up on 641, still to come here on Mountain News this morning, the Food and Drug Administration puts a plan into place that's meant to help keep the supply of baby formula in the U.S. steady and secure. Stay with us. We'll be right back.